Indisputable evidence. Despite all the facts you got, we're not talking about facts. We're talking about evidence. Indisputable evidence. Just by the evidence, they could not deny it. Just by the evidence, they couldn't pick it apart, couldn't decipher it, and come to the conclusions that they themselves perhaps wanted to draw. It was indisputable that this man walking and leaping and praising God. And can you say that with me? I need to let that sink down in you. Walking, leaping, and praising God. Yeah. You know, backdrop of this text, has to do with this lame man who sat at the beautiful gate. It was a beautiful gate. It was a place, a gate situated and saturated at the temple. And Harry Emerson Fosdick launches an argument about the Christian faith in that Christians very often applaud their faith, but they become anemic when it comes to following the will, the word, and the way of God. They seem to applaud having faith and being in the faith, but are not sensitive to the moving of the Spirit of God and let Him have His will and let Him have His way. And when you let Him have His will and let Him have His way, God has enough transforming, revolution, penetrating, powerful power that He can exude in and through your life, that undeniable and undisputed, God can make a change over you. This man lame from his mother's womb at this beautiful gate. And the backdrop is that he was asking alms for the poor, alms because he was disenfranchised. He was a beggar. And the church would often pass through there on their way into the temple to pray. As a matter of fact, the Bible says that Peter and John were going up together at the hour of prayer. I've got a witness here. And the Holy Ghost tugs on my mind right now, because if we ever going to go to the house of prayer, the Jews into Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. But at the end of the trip, he changed the trip to Jerusalem into a course in religion for the intellectuals of his day. Mary and Joseph and all the rest were gone down the road, and Jesus was down in the temple teaching scribes and giving them a course in religion. Can I use my sanctified imagination? I can imagine they standing there talking to Lord Jesus, talking about, what's your name? And you probably say, well, you know, they named me Jesus. But it means God saved. It meant Emmanuel. It meant God is with us. So what you say, boy, my name is Jesus, but it means God saved and Emmanuel and God is with us. So where are you from, boy? Well, they say I was born in Bethlehem of Judea, but they call me Jesus of Nazareth. But I am going to be the Christ of God. But where I'm from, I'm glad you brought it up. I'm from eternity past. And after I'm dead and gone and rose again, I'm going to go to my rightful place in eternity future. Boy, how old are you, boy? Well, I'm glad you asked. According to your standards and calendar, I'm 12 years old. But really, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the first and I'm the last. I was when there was not, and I will be when there is not. But they say I'm 12 years old. Who's your mama now? Well, you know, they say my mama is married. But, you know, my daddy ain't never touched her. Well, listen, they say my daddy is Joseph and he teaches carpentry trade, and I learned a little bit of it. But my real daddy is God the Father, and I am the son of myself. I'm not with this. I am one with God. I'm co-equal with God. I'm coexistent with God. And I'm co-eternal with God. But Mary did help us out. I tell you, he changed the trip to Jerusalem that was meant to be a family journey into a course in religion for the intellectuals of his day.